Dharamjot, who's there with me in the newsroom. We've been tracking the developments, Dharam, and as what Idris has just shared with us, that major shelling is taking place across the LOC. This is no longer small arms fire. The shelling has been taking place since a number of hours now. This seems to be the first response that Pakistan has had to Operation Sindoor, and it is much different than the rhetoric they had back in 2019 when the Balakot airstrikes took place, where they said nothing really happened. Clearly, this time their reaction has already come in the form of shelling which is taking place. This is the 13th night. Till now, they said small arms fire was taking place, but now we're seeing major shelling taking place, and even civilians have been injured in the Poonch district in the valley.
Well, you're absolutely right, Shivan. It's an escalation, the likes of which we haven't seen in a long time between India and Pakistan. Now, having said that, this, as you rightly mentioned, this is clearly a reaction coming from the Pakistani side, because the Indian armed forces have done some damage, and they've done some damage to the terror infrastructure that India's neighbor has been harboring for years now. If I could just quickly go into a few details, Shivan, we have these locations of the 9 terror sites that the Indian armed forces struck a couple of hours ago. Bahawalpur, as we've been talking about, and Murdike also, as we've been talking about in Muridke, Gulpur. There's the LET camp in Savai. There's the Bilal camp, which is a Jaish-e-Mohammed launch pad that has been known to the Indian armed forces for a while now. There's the LET camp in Kotli. There's the Barnala camp, which is just 10 kilometers from the LOC in the Pakistani side. There's the Sarjal camp, which is again a Jaish-e-Mohammed camp. And there's the Mehmoona camp, which is 15 kilometers from the international border, somewhere near Sialkot in Pakistan. So these are the sites that the Indian armed forces struck between 1:30 a.m. to 2 a.m. Just a few short hours ago, Shivan, and after which they announced that these 9 sites have been struck. Now, it is expected that the Indian armed forces will put out a more detailed statement and share more information during the press conference later this evening. But clearly, a lot has already developed on the ground, Shivan, as we've been hearing from Idris. The border has been active for the past 13, 14 days. It's escalated even more just moments after India's precision strike on the terror camps in parts of mainland Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir as well. So how this is going to pan out in the next few hours during the course of the day, we'll have to watch very closely, because the Pakistani side is expected to react. This is something that the Indian armed forces were prepared for, and they knew this is going to happen, which is why we've been talking about, again and again, Shivan, that video that the Indian Army posted, the timing of which has really captured the attention. Before they announced the strike that happened, the terror camps that they struck, just minutes before that, they posted a video of their readiness to win and to go to battle. So clearly the Indian armed forces are ready. We know from sources that have been talking to ANI saying that this is clearly a tri-service operation that has been carried out. The Indian Air Force, the Indian Navy and the Indian Army are equally involved in carrying out this precision strike on terror camps on the other side of the LOC and the border. So how all these 3 forces now respond going forward, we are expecting a flurry of meetings. We are expecting statements. We are expecting more information later in the course of the day. But the situation as far as the valley is concerned, as far as the LOC and the international border between India and Pakistan is concerned, is definitely, it's escalated at the moment. The forces are alert. As I was telling you before, civilians have been asked to be prepared for any and all circumstances. The forces on the ground in border areas of Rajasthan, Punjab, of Jammu and Kashmir, they have been preparing the border villages for any sort of situation that may arise in case there's an escalation, in case there's any unprovoked firing from the Pakistani side. So we are going to expect more details and more developments on this front later in the day. But the Indian Armed Forces is clearly on the ground, ready for any and all kind of situations, no matter how this plays out from the Pakistani side, Shivan.